Hi, I'm Zane.
Hello, I'm Reese.
And we are brothers
from another motherboard.
The topic of today's video is video games. And as a player of video games myself, I can say with experience that they are pretty fun.
A video game is a simple task provided to a user which is to be completed by maybe solving puzzles or meeting virtual people.
In this episode, we will be covering the history of video games, explaining how they are coded, and showing a couple of lines of Unity and how they can be mass-produced worldwide.
And without further ado, let's get into the episode.
The first video game is interesting as the original creator was a scientist at a laboratory.
As for the scientist, his name was William Higginbotham, sorry if I mispronounced it, and he created the game on the November of 1972. The game was a simplistic virtual tennis game that was to be played on a home TV.
At the start of the game, a ball is placed in the center of a black playing field and is to be bounced back and forth using paddles that can only move in the y-axis. The goal is simple. Whoever hits the ball past the white paddle can win.
Let's fast forward 8 years to the initial release of Pac-Man. Pac-Man is one of the most, if not the most, popular arcade game of all time. The game was released by Toru Iwatani and was released for home TVs and arcade machines. By explaining the object of the game, you might be able to see the drastic change in what video games were like before and after Iwatani created Pac-Man.
Unlike Pong, Pac-Man can be described as confusing as there are little to no information about controls and how to play. The object is to navigate a yellow half circle through a maze of food items, hit points, and dots while avoiding the menacing ghost awaiting every turn. This game was coded with assembly, a rather old coding language, and was assembled in a box configuration and coated with a fiberglass to encase it in an arcade machine. An interesting thing about this game is that when a player reaches precisely the level 256, the right side of the game starts to appear and get filled with random game assets. This phenomenon can be explained because Iwatani not knowing when players would reach this level in the game and not planning ahead to compensate.
Now follow us as we take the long journey to July 25th, 2017, when the Battle Royale shooter game Fortnite took the world by storm. The game designers worked hard to make sure this game was perfect and even devoted a color scheme that scientifically made children more addicted to it.
Now that we've talked about the history, let's talk about how the video games are made.
To start, a popular program used to code video games interfaces is Unity. Unity is a half drag and drop, half text, half visual design platform. Unity is definitely not simple to use, but can provide amazing graphics when it comes to video games that Python cannot achieve.
A game can be created with assets, which are basically different items in the code that can be used multiple times during the process of making the game. It is common for coders to hire freelance animators to provide illustrations, characters, and animated assets.
At the process of developing video games, mostly small teams are found due to productivity of small groups.
Our last subject is the mass production of video games, discs, and consoles.
The release of Pong was so popular that Atari Inc. decided to sell discs for home use. After that, game cartridges started to become more popular due to less people going to arcades and a majority of people playing the games in the comfort of their own homes.
Nowadays, consoles are better and more efficient ways to run video games. The common console can consist of 2 USB ports, a disk drive, and an on and off button. Some common accessories found to be compatible with consoles are things like controllers, headphones, mics, USB cords, and USB cords.
If you were to sell a console, what alternatives would be available?
Well, to start off, Reese, a PC or a Mac might be the device for your liking. Desktops are good for their power and usually have better specs than other types of computers like laptops. Laptops are smaller, very portable, and useful for moving around.
Zane, I have one more question.
What's your question?
How can I download video games onto my computer?
Well, programs like Steam make that easy for you. Steam is a library of over 1,000 games to choose from. All you need to do is buy the game of your choice. Simple as that.
Wow, that is simple. Anyways, that is going to wrap it up for today's video.
And we'll join you next time on
Brothers from Another Motherboard.